Hello, good morning. And someone asked on my feed this morning a very interesting question that I thought I'd make a little Facebook Live about. And the question was, how do you change a mindset? So, and this morning I've been out to do the school run this morning. Isn't it nice to be back into routine and to get the school run done and come home? And I'm like, I feel like I've lost something at the moment. It's like dropped Bo off at school and I feel like, is there something I'm missing? So it feels a little bit weird because we've had 2 weeks together recently. Hello, Michael. Hello, Parvez. Someone asked a question on my feed this morning, how do you change a mindset? So I thought I'd make a little Facebook Live about that. And often when we talk about mindset, we hear about growth mindset, fixed mindset, and someone that I was talking to recently has created a benefit mindset as well. So that's 3 different mindsets. Hi, Parvez. 3 different mindsets. But psychology often wants to put people into boxes. So I tend to think that there's a lot of stuff in between that. And it's not just these 3 things. Hi, Steve. It's not just these 3 points that we can be at. I feel like there's a missing middle, there's a missing middle to this. There's a middle probably in between growth and fixed, in between fixed and benefit, maybe before, maybe after. And I feel like, what is a mindset? A mindset really is a unique perspective about the world. So I feel it's more unique in that we all have our own perspectives about the world, and it comes from our experience, and it comes from, what the things that we've done in life, and how it is about growth, because it's how we've grown and we put ourselves forward, or we've learned about things. It's really about openness and being willing to learn new things, I feel. So there is an element of growth to it. But what I notice is that people who we would describe as having a fixed mindset often are just fixed about themselves. So they will feel like they can't do a particular thing, or they can't move beyond their comfort zone, but they will feel that others can. So that's really interesting to me, because they don't think about themselves in the same way as they think about others. And the others that they would perceive maybe as having a growth mindset, they see them as lucky. And I don't think that's the case. So people who have a growth mindset sometimes see other people as fixed. But what I notice as well with these people is that fixed really is about being fixed inside your comfort zone. And usually when people who we might describe as fixed, often when I go into employment and work with people who are looking for jobs, they can seem to be fixed in certain things. But that's right, it's in certain things. It's not in everything. And it's looking at that and showing them that there's, you're fixed in that area, but not in this area. What's the difference there? So often when it's things outside of their comfort zone, or things that they haven't done for a long time, or things where they've had a lot of knocks in life, they will seem more fixed. And for me, that's being comfortable in their uncomfortableness. So it's about the fact that they are, they're creating fear to stop themselves going outside of comfort. And also, people who you would describe as having a growth mindset, they're not growth in everything. There are areas that they might not be so fixed in. This morning, I thought, I'm full up with a cold. First day back at school. My hair's not looking fantastic as it could be, Shall I do a video? And a video, if I don't like it, I can delete it. And I thought, no, I'm going to do a Facebook Live, and I'm going to push myself to do a Facebook Live, and I haven't done a Facebook Live for a long time. So that's an example of me changing my mindset around a small thing like doing a Facebook Live. So when we answer the question, how do you change your mindset, or how do we change a mindset? I think we all have unique perspectives, and what we do is we have to look at what's working, what's not working, what would benefit us, what wouldn't benefit us, what do we want to achieve, all of that stuff. And then we change our mindset by making decisions all the time about what it is that we're going to action, or what it is that we're going to pursue, or what it is that we're going to let go of, or what it is that we're going to ask for. And then being open to other people's perspectives too. So, you know, when I go into employment, often people will say there aren't any jobs out there. It's really difficult. It's really hard work. And they're like that at the beginning of the workshop. But towards the end, you can see them waking up to things. You can see them changing their perspective, changing their mindset. And you know, there's one occasion where I was in a workshop and people were saying it's hard work and there's no jobs out there. And I said, let me just join you here. And I sat down and I said, it's hard work running a business with 2 children. You know, I think I might just give up because it's really hard and all of that. And these people sat in front of me started saying, but but don't give up. You're really good. And I said, hang on a minute, you're coaching me now. Why can't you do that for yourself? So it's, they all of a sudden they thought, oh, actually, yes. So that gave them an insight to change their mindset. So all the time we get an insight. If we're open to other people's perspectives, hi Esther, hi Nathan, hi Scott, hello Diane. If we're open to other people's perspectives, if we're open to learning, then we are always changing our mindset. If we come across people who are more fixed, really all it is that they're operating from fear. Yeah, it's that they don't feel comfortable to go outside of their comfort zone. So that is, hi Esther, that is when we have to be in love with those people. And sometimes being in love with those people is actually to show them there's a different way. And to show them that, okay, you have your perspective, this is my perspective, and it's up to them whether they take it or not. Or it's to show up the inconsistencies in our stories, because all of us have stories. So when we talk about mindset, I kind of see it a little bit differently in that, hi Karen, in that it's not kind of fixed and growth or fixed growth and benefit. We are constantly changing our mindset every time we make a decision, every time we take on a new perspective, every time we're open to a new idea. This is how our mindsets are constantly being formed. So, hi Sparky. So it's like we don't, you know, we can't say, oh, we're done now. We're growth mindset, we're done now. We don't need to do any more. Hi Dave. All right. We don't need to do any more. It's we're constantly changing our perspective. We're constantly changing our mindset. Happy New Year. Hi. We're constantly doing that. So, hello. So that's why I decided to make this video, because I thought that's such an interesting question. How do you change a mindset? How do you change a mindset in yourself? How do you change a mindset for other people? And that's how you do it, really. It's about hi Tom, all right. It's about just changing, you know, you can change in all sorts of ways, but it is about being open. It is about not fitting into those 3 categories, because I think that's quite limiting, really, to say you're either, you know, you're either growth or you're fixed. You're either growth, fixed, or benefit. I think that there's a lot more to it, and we're constantly changing and constantly growing. And, you know, those people that seem to be fixed, they're just afraid of change. They're just operating from fear, that's all. And it's when you understand that, you can meet them in a place of love and kind of lead them somewhere else, which is what I do then in my workshops, is to say, okay, yeah, it's hard sometimes, but it doesn't have to be hard. The other thing about mindset is that, you know, growth mindset says that, you know, it's about working hard and all of that. And I know from what I've experienced, it isn't always about working hard. It's about doing less sometimes. It's about asking for help sometimes. So it's about, for me, it's about not limiting yourself to a label or a category, and to just be learning and be open and be aware of what's going on. Just listen to other people, listen to other perspectives. You will learn stuff, you know, you will have insights, you will grow, you will change your perspective and your mindset. So that is what I wanted to say today, really. So thank you. Isabel asked the question. Thank you for asking that question. It's a fantastic question. And I hope that that's answered it for you. That's my perspective. I'm sure there's lots more. And if anybody's got any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer those as well. So it's lovely to see so many people this morning. And it's the first day back. I've been itching to get back. I've enjoyed the holidays. It's been fantastic. I've had a lovely time with Beau, but I've been kind of itching for some space, in a sense, itching for some space to get back to things. So it's nice to be back to things today, and I'm going to get some stuff done later. So has anybody got any questions about anything? What are you doing, you lot? Are you having a happy new year? Having a nice time? Hi, Kay. And usually this time of year, I kind of set some goals and stuff. This year, I haven't done that. I've kind of reflected on what worked well last year. And I know what worked well and what didn't work so well. And I know, like, towards the end of last year, I really overstretched myself, to be totally honest. Happy New Year, Faves. Really overstretched myself. Enjoying the peace, yeah. It's nice, isn't it? So I've been looking at going back to really what kind of works, what doesn't work. And I think for me, at the beginning of the year now, it's more about, it is about learning. It's about focusing on what works, focusing on what I know is stuff that works, really. And I think last year I spent, you know, I wrote a book last year, got shortlisted for 2 awards last year. Some fantastic things happened. But I think I focused on some things that were the little things. And instead of focusing, doing the kind of Pareto principle, isn't it? The 80%, 20%. Instead of focusing on maybe the stuff that really makes the biggest difference. So that's another thing for me this year that I'm looking at. No peace here. Kids still off till tomorrow. Do you know what? I thought that the kids went back on Wednesday. And then last night I looked at the newsletter and it said school tomorrow. And I was like, oh, that was like a nice surprise. But then I had to get everything ready for Beau to go to school today now. We've both had colds, so he's coughing. Got a question. Has mindset anything to do with your beliefs? It does have stuff to do with your beliefs. But I think beliefs really... We think about beliefs sometimes as being a little bit fixed as well. And what I realised when I do my workshops in employment, you can really see then that, and when I worked in mental health as well, that people have beliefs in some areas, but in other areas, they believe something completely different. So they might believe something when they're in their comfort zone, that they can't do a particular thing. And then something else they will do. So, and it's often showing them that actually, I know you say you can't do it in that area, but here you seem to do it really easily. So what's different here? This is something I've thought about a lot, wanted to help those in my own life, not just those I work with. The biggest thing I've learned is that staying focused on my mindset and trying to be in a positive role is better sometimes than fighting to change someone else. Yeah, that's true as well. I think what I learned is that you can help those who want to help themselves. So for instance, when I do show someone an inconsistency, I'm not attached to them doing anything with it. I just show them the inconsistency, or you know, say that's interesting. I'm curious about this, or that's very interesting how you think about that in that way. But I'm not attached to them taking any action on it. That's not my responsibility. That's theirs. So it is focusing on yourself, focusing on the more learning you do, the more inconsistencies you'll notice in other people. The more learning you do, the more you'll understand it all. And I'm going to understand it more and more and more, really. And that's the more service you can be to other people then. But whether they take that stuff, like, we're not always ready to receive insights. Sometimes, and in the workshops that I do, sometimes, like, they'll it's like drip feeding. They'll have a little bit from that one. The next one they come to, they have a bit more. So it's moving. They move along. As long as people are moving, I think is good. But sometimes if people don't want to move, that's fine too, because that's where they are. And it's not, we have to let go of it. It's not our responsibility to change someone else. It's their responsibility. All we can do is be of service. Hi Tash, Happy New Year and stuff. Just wondering if other things than fear could influence mindset, such as guilt. Well, guilt often comes from people saying the word should. So when we say the word should, you know this from our mental health days as well, James, that when we use the word should, we kind of make ourselves feel guilty. So it's like the way we think about things. I put a post on the other day about I'm doing this for me. So people often, when they like invest in themselves, they feel guilty about spending that time, energy and resources on themselves. And maybe they should be focusing on their children. Maybe they should be focusing on other people. And a lot of the time we do focus on other people. And we get guilt about focusing on ourselves. Cough, I got a tickle. But it comes from our thinking and our thoughts. And when we realize that our thoughts, cough again, when we realize that our thoughts aren't real, that we create our thoughts. And what I find is that where I used to create thoughts that might create guilt or frustration or all of these things, now I know that the thoughts aren't real and I don't bother creating them anymore. I just focus on being rather than thinking. It doesn't really happen so much then. And then, terrible cough. Oh, I've had this cough for ages. I've got a coffee, hang on. Good point. Is it about attachment? In the past, I have pushed this stuff on friends and family that don't want to know. Oh. Oh dear. You know when you go to the library and you know you can't cough and then you get that tickle. That's what I've got now. Okay. Good point. It's about attachment. Yeah, and I think we sometimes want to push stuff onto other people. But really that's thinking that our way is better than their way. And I had an interesting conversation with my dad yesterday. He was saying, take a break. Sometimes you need to take a break, that's true. So my dad was saying yesterday, you know, you need to teach your children this particular thing, you know, manners and stuff like that. And I was saying, yeah, but he's still learning, you know. He's still learning. He's 4. He's... oh dear. He's on a journey, really. And my dad was saying, but you know, if you don't teach him now, then when he's 7 or 8 or 9, and I'm like, but how do you know what he's going to be like when he's 7 or 8 or 9? That's jumping into the future. That's living from fear. And actually, you said that about my oldest boy, and he actually is 20 now, and none of that ever happened. So what I said was, you know, you have your way of doing things. I have my way of doing things. They will combine, and Bo will make sense of things from that. It doesn't mean your way is right. It doesn't mean my way is right. So instead of pushing things onto people, it's understanding, I think, that there are different perspectives. And, you know, each of those perspectives are just as valuable. We can't say, you know, my dad's perspective, I wouldn't be who I am today without that. So that was useful to me. So I said, carry on with it, because obviously it was useful to me. So we don't know. Different people react to different things in different ways. So it might not be useful to someone else. We don't know. Oh, I need another day off. Changing your own mindset changes your perception of everything that happens around you. And often it's not as bad as you would have thought in a different mindset. And that's totally true. You know, when I was thinking, oh, do I make a video this morning? If I made a video and I was coughing, I could have deleted it and made another one. Instead, I'm coughing on my live thing, but that's life, you know? So, it's never as bad as you think. So it's really lovely. And we had up to 12 people on here today. And it's really lovely to connect with you all this morning and to share this conversation. So that's the thing about people who, when they're in that fixed state, and I wouldn't say it's a fixed mindset, it's more like sometimes we all get into that fixed state where we think things, and we think that it's going to be worse than it is. But if we can just say something to ourselves or think differently or take on a different perspective and shift out of that, there are loads of different ways of looking at things. So when you understand that there are loads of different ways of looking at things, the way that you're looking at things is only one way of looking at it. So it's like thinking of all the other ways that you could look at it, that and use the ways that will help you rather than the ways that aren't helping you. That really helps you to shift from where you are to actually actioning something. And yes, we often think it's much worse than it actually is. It's always easier than you think it's going to be. When you speak about mindset, I think there are different types of mindset. The mindset to focus on ourselves, as you're saying, but also the mindset to achieve what you want from life. For example, as you know, Natasha, I'm an investor, so I developed an investor mindset. As an entrepreneur, I have an entrepreneur's mindset. So whatever you want to achieve, develop the mindset that will help you achieve it. And that's totally right. That's what I'm saying really is that you've got growth, you've got fixed, you've got benefit, you've got investors mindset, you've got entrepreneurs mindset. There's loads more mindsets, isn't there? No, it's not just going into this either or. I think psychology wants to fit us into boxes, and it wants to say you either fit here or you fit here, and there's always a missing middle. But yeah, there's loads of different mindsets. And I was talking, somebody said something about money, because we were talking about in Finland, they're giving people free money who are on benefits or out of work, and they're giving them like £500 or whatever every month, and they're seeing what they do with it, and it's a 2-year experiment. And someone said something about money, and I said, yeah, it's growing, and that's what me and Karen are doing at the moment. It's like when you get money, what do you do with it? You know, if you spend it, that's a mindset, isn't it? And if you make it grow into something else, that's a different mindset. Entrepreneurs have a different mindset. So I believe that mindset, it's your unique perspective, and you can develop the mindset, as Karen says, that will help you. But if you think that you only fit into 2 boxes, growth or fixed, then I think that's quite limiting. I've learned a lot of this from you. That's fantastic, Kay. I'm fed up of thinking. Well, don't think, because I don't do a lot of thinking anymore, because I think when we're conditioned to kind of learn and study and get qualifications and knowledge and information, and that's not even power anyway. You know, when I started my business, I thought people are going to want to see all the letters after my name, and I studied for like 15 years, so I did a lot of study, but they didn't care. They didn't. My first business cards had all my letters after my name. People don't care. They just want to know, can you help them? They don't care that you've studied. And actually, you know, we all this thinking that we do. I mean, I used to overanalyze everything. I don't even bother now. I just think that's just a waste of time. It's a waste of my time to do it. I think that if I think, I'm going to think things and focus on creating things rather than focus on challenges, because then I'll see more things I want to create or get more opportunities that I want to create. If I focus on challenges, I get more challenges. Another one pops up, another one pops up, another one pops up. That's a waste of my time. So it is focusing on things that'll help you, developing mindsets that'll help you. You know, if thinking's not helping you and you're fed up of thinking, stop it. Do something else, or just, you know, we're all, when we're being and we're enjoying presence. I was stood just by the door earlier, and I was visited by a robin, and then another one, and one just looked at me, and that was really magical. But, you know, I can think about, why is that robin there? Is it like a message? Is it this? I don't care. It was just a beautiful moment. That's it. It was just a beautiful moment. I just really enjoyed it. It was magical. That's enough for me. Emma, the best way I find to calm my thinking is walking and being treated. Well, walking is fantastic. Every time I go outside, it's like that magical moment this morning when I go outside. It's fantastic. You know, you always notice things about... I took a picture of the moon yesterday. It was beautiful. So, yeah, outside there's lots of really nice stuff, isn't there, to kind of help you to be present more than anything. Oh, my goodness, what you said about your dad resonated with me. I can get very annoyed with my mum for trying to parent my kids the way she did me. I never thought of it that way before. The way she parented me obviously worked. Yeah. Because I'm okay, love. Thank you. I will use that. Have you seen Tony Robbins? I Am Not Your Guru. He talks to a couple on there, mum and a daughter, I think. And they're saying about their dad, her dad is terrible and all of this. And he says, if you are blaming him for all the crap and the bad stuff, then you need to blame him for the good stuff too. So that was really useful. And yeah, it's just that my dad has different experience, different perspective. You know, what he did with me worked for me. And yes, like I said, that, you know, probably I've had a lot of conditioning as well that I've had to like let go of. But it worked. Because, like, we used to go and visit people and say, oh, you know, you have to be really polite and you have to, like, someone offers you a biscuit, don't take it. And I can remember saying, somebody said, you know, would you like a biscuit? And I went, no, thank you. And I thought, I really want that biscuit. So I think years ago, children were, you know, seen and not heard. That's how they were brought up, with that kind of parenting. That's what they did. But I brought my kids up to be more outspoken and to have more opinions and stuff, because I understand it's all different perspectives, and that it's not just, you know, what I also understand that what we're told today in 50 years' time is going to be different. Okay, so the things that we're doing today, our kids are going to blame us for, probably. So bear that in mind. But we're doing what we feel is best at the time, aren't we? And that's what we have to understand about our parents. They do what they feel is best at the time. They do their best. That's it. Okay. Sorry, being treated to switch my thinking off. Okay, like I wrote a blog a while ago about negative and positive thinking, and I said that if you create positive thinking to outweigh the negative thinking, you created the negative thinking in the first place. So you're like doing double the effort. Being treated to switch your thinking off, reflexology. And you do reflexology, don't you, Sass? But reflexology, that's helping you to be more present and like let go of thinking, isn't it? That's what I would say. I mean, for me, it's more about letting go than switching anything off. I mean, in the beginning, if I think back, I did have to do stuff back then where I would, like, if I had a negative thought, I would go stop. And then I would like backtrack and I would go, I don't want to go down that route. I want to go down this route. So a while ago, I was doing that sort of stuff and maybe switching off and changing things more. Now, for me, it's more about just letting go. It's so much easier. That's right, Lisa. My favourite saying is, when faced with only two choices, always choose the third. It's a great way to challenge the black and white either or mindset. And that's right. You know, there's a lot of boxes that we get put in. I mean, even I was talking to somebody about men and women yesterday, and I was talking about the women's groups I do, and they describe them as feminist. And I said, I don't describe them as feminist because I think even putting ourselves into boxes of men and women is not good, because we're all human beings. And actually, it's more about, like, I gravitate now towards people who are of a similar energy or who are on their journey too. So I gravitate towards those people because it kind of, we get each other more. But at the same time, I can talk to anybody, so I can still, you know, be with someone, be present with someone, even someone who doesn't want to change or someone who has a different perspective to me. It's just being with those people, isn't it? And appreciating their perspective as well. So, yeah, I'm not fond of the kind of you fit there or you fit there. That's a good way of doing it, is to choose the third one. Hi, DK Narishma. Hi. Has anybody got any more questions? I was telling my mum the other day, because she's had this cold, And I said, nothing works better than, there was an advert on the telly, nothing works better than Beecham's, or nothing works better than something, Nurofen or whatever. And I'm like, my thinking, I go, we'll take nothing then. Because maybe the advertising allows them to say, well, nothing works better. And I don't tend to take things when I have colds or when I'm ill. I don't tend to, because I think my body kind of fight it, and it strengthens and gives it resilience and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing works better than something suggests to me that I might as well take nothing then. Anybody got any questions? Oh, hi Liz. How are you? Is everybody enjoying the new year? Because it's like only a couple of days in, isn't it? But I agree with that, Natasha. I would hate to be called a feminist. I'm just a person working with other people. Yeah, I think, and I don't think this person, we had a conversation about it, and this person wasn't really putting that in a box, in a sense, and they were really interested in what I was doing. But I just described that I think that, it's not a feminist thing. I see people out there, men and women, who, I'm an action taker. I'm someone who likes to focus on creating, or focus on doing and stuff, doing all of that. But I see men and women out there in exactly that, not exactly that place, because we're all different, but in the same sort of place with the same sort of energy. So now I tend to see things in terms of energy, perhaps. And, I love people who are in contribution to others, because I'm in contribution to others. So that's where I am. So I do gravitate more towards people probably in those areas. Yeah, I'm not a feminist, but I used to be. I did protests and stuff, and I came up against a lot of, hi Samuel, Happy New Year. I came up against a lot of resistance with that as well, But again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's where I was then. I had to come through that bit, yeah, to get to the bit where I am now. So, and there's nothing, but again, a feminist, it's like a box, So I'm not fond of boxes, whatever they are. So, and I talk about action takers, really action taker, that's a box, really. But we do use labels to describe where we are sometimes. But it's knowing that we don't have to be in that box, in a sense. We can be wherever we are. We don't have to be in a box. Anybody else got any questions? What kind of boxes do you get put in then? We've talked about feminist. What other boxes do people get put in? I mean, even like, are you a coach? Are you a mindset coach? Are you a coach? That's like a box. It doesn't really describe someone, does it? It doesn't describe their approach or what they do. You're a reflexologist. That's a box. What exactly are you referring to as being feminist? I was just referring to, I had a conversation with someone about my women's groups that I run, and they described them as feminists, and I wouldn't describe them as feminist. I would describe them as just, I gravitated towards that because that was something that I felt was missing in networking, and it just happens to be for women. But I see men out there that could fit into that too. So, and maybe one day that will happen, I don't know. But it's not, women and men kind of thing doesn't really, thank you, Samuel, for sharing my video. The women and men kind of thing. It's just boxes, really, isn't it? And it's that's to separate us, when actually we are all connected. So I feel more that we're all connected rather than separate. And labels, I know from my time in mental health, sometimes labels can help us. So like I used the label of leader last year to think about what I wanted to create, and Women Inspire Leaders. I needed to be a leader to attract leaders, and that's what I did. So I used that to help me. So labels we can use to help us as well. But so it's really deciding whether the labels or the boxes that you're putting are helping or hindering you, I think. I have some new things happening at the moment, and I'm fearful it won't work. How do you know, Emma? How do you know? If you're fearful it won't work, you're future thinking. So you won't really know until you actually do it. I had no idea when I did this Facebook Live we would have up to 12 people. We've got 9 people on at the moment, that you would ask all these questions. I kind of considered making a video because I'm coughing, and I could delete it, or like maybe my hair's not perfect or whatever. But it's pushing yourself beyond that. The only way you're going to find out whether it works or not is to push yourself beyond that, really. Hi Glenn. I don't, my thoughts are telling me, but that's like saying you have no control over it, and actually it's your thoughts that are doing it. And you know, it's like, you know, with reflexology can change your thoughts, can't it? You know, it can help you to let go of that. Yeah. So it's about what you believe, in a sense, as well, because sometimes, like, we see what we believe in life. So if I believe it's going to be hard, or if I believe I can't do something, then that's what I see in the world. That's reflected in the world. So I'm interested in something I read recently that talked about how if you always concentrate on being positive, that implies we have negativity. Because I don't have much negativity, I don't do specific positivity. Wondering what you think. I read something yesterday, Bridget. Lovely to have you on, Bridget. I read something yesterday, and it was from a feminist website, actually, that I follow. Not being a feminist. But it said that positive thinking is like gaslighting. And I thought, well, that's just a perspective. That's just a perspective. And that might be the case for some people. But as someone who's experienced what they describe as gaslighting, yeah, I also know that when I experienced gaslighting, that I was in a different place. And if I experienced gaslighting now, I wouldn't perceive it as gaslighting. So I think I saw the article that you're describing. I saw something about positive and negative yesterday. I didn't read that one. But, so let me read your question again. I'm interested in something I read recently that talked about how if you always concentrate on being positive, it's not about always being positive. I think people see positive thinking as a bit fluffy, and that you always have to be positive and all of that. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I go, this is really shit. This is awful. Oh my God, this is like, ugh. Yeah. Sometimes I do that. But then I refocus and I go, okay, so what can I do about it? So I think it's okay sometimes. You know, in the holidays, I was chilling out. I was getting up a little bit later. And, you know, I had to get up early today. I've got to get up at 5 tomorrow. So I knew I had to get back into routine. But it's okay to let go. And even positive and negative are boxes, aren't they, really? I think we just have to do what works for us. And you know, if being positive works for you, that's fine. If being, you know, sometimes being negative, or being like, negative is seen as a bad thing, isn't it? But being angry can be seen as a bad thing. Anger is quite motivating. Frustration is motivating. There are opportunities. When you notice frustrations, that's where opportunity lies. So I don't think judging anything is useful. What's reflexology? Apalash said, what's reflexology? Emma might want to describe that for him. I know it's about feet. It does, my thoughts are telling me it will cause me debt or problems. Okay. So are you coming from a place of lack there, Emma? I was listening to a podcast last night, something that I do, like every morning I listen to something, maybe a podcast or watch a video or something, and before I go to bed I do too. And sometimes before I go to bed I think about what I'm going to do the next day. So the planning bit and the focus bit I do the day before, so when I get up in the morning I'm already off. So again, how do you know it's going to cause you debt or problems? I mean, it is a possibility. I'm not going to say it's not, you know, whatever it is, because I just had my tax return for the year, and I've looked at what I've earned this year, and I've looked at my outgoings, and my outgoings, I've realised, for last year were huge, right? Absolutely huge. And that's why this year, another thing that I'm doing is I'm looking at how can I reduce my outgoings as well. So again, it's just learning from that. So what you could do is that you don't know if it's going to cause you debt or problems until you actually do it. But what you can do is you can track that. So as you're doing it, and you might want to track it quite regularly, and look at, if you're looking to get clients, or wherever you're looking to attract clients, then you'll have like a client cost. So you can look at that, you can track it. You can start small is another thing. I mean, people start businesses with no money at all. I did 3 years in my business, and I've probably on advertising spent hardly anything really. And my costs haven't been on advertising. I've had some marketing costs with things I've had printed and banners. My office is a big cost. And then it's petrol and coffee. It all adds up. So it's tracking. If you want to do it and go a little bit kind of slower and track it and see, but move forward into it, and you will realize that what I find, people in their comfort zones, as long as they move outside of their comfort zones, they realize that what they were thinking that was going to be really bad is never as bad as they thought. Okay, and you've heard Kay say that earlier as well, so that's not just me saying that. But as long as they move a little bit, as they edge outside their comfort zone, they get to see that for themselves. They get to prove themselves wrong, okay? And that works with anxiety too. When people are willing to edge outside of their comfort zone, they get to prove themselves wrong. They get to realize that all the things that they were thinking that would happen don't. And that's what I would suggest. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want with that, but it's tracking it, isn't it? So journaling, tracking, all of that. DK, I agree. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is something that they talk about in the domestic violence sphere in terms of manipulation, people making things your fault and stuff like that. But, I have domestic violence in my background. And what I've realised as I've come through my journey is that it doesn't really help to think of I never want to be a victim anyway. That's another box I didn't want to be in. So it doesn't help to be there. It doesn't help to blame others. In order to move on from things like that, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive others too. So forgiveness is a good way forward. So gaslighting, again, it's another label for a behavior. But actually, when people, I think gaslighting doesn't just happen in domestic abuse from how they describe it. I think it happens everywhere. If you see it through that lens, you can see it in lots of things. Yeah, you can see it in relationships with parents and children. You can see it in relationships with other adults. You can see it everywhere if you look through that lens. The idea is not to look through that lens and then you don't see it. Or you see it in a different perspective, or you see it and it means something else. Okay, so, but it's really about manipulation, gaslighting. Working through the reflex points. So that's what reflexology is, working through the reflex points in the feet that reflects each part of your body, including chakras. It's amazing, inside out. So hi, Raphael. That's what I'm doing, Emma Burns said. There we are then. So that will is it helping you? It's not for me to say if it helps you or not. It's for you to track it and get feedback and to see if it's working or not working. That's what it is. And if it's working, do more of it. If it's not working, don't do so much of it or let go of it. Good morning, Steve. Hello. Thank you for sharing my video. If anybody else wants to share my video, that'd be great. Because I think this is a really interesting discussion, actually, that's gone into other areas as well. So has anybody else got any questions? Lots of interesting things we're talking about. I think I could have interesting conversations all day. I love interesting conversations. Hi, Caroline. And I think that's what it's about. When you meet people with different perspectives, have a conversation. People are, doing surface goals. They're having surface conversations. We're so busy. We hold on to our time, but then we're in lack of time, aren't we? Because we hold on to it. And when we have those deeper conversations, like lots of things come out of it, and we get insights and they get insights, and we share a moment of time together. And we share our perspectives together. And I think that is fantastic. Oh, thank you for sharing my video, Abhilash. So, I think connecting with people, that's something that's really big for me this year, is connecting with people. So I'm connecting with you a lot today, which is really, really nice. And I think that in any business, that is at the foundation of things, is to connect with people. And this year or last year, I connected with a lot of successful female entrepreneurs. And what I've noticed about them as well is that they focus on visibility. They don't focus on getting clients. Yeah, a lot of people go networking focused on getting clients. But a lot of successful women entrepreneurs are focused on visibility, because the more visible you are, the more people know about what you do and how you can help them. Then that all the rest happens anyway. Okay, so it's connecting and visibility, I think, are the two main things probably for this year. What are you focused on for this year? Anybody else focused on anything different? Anybody do any reflecting about the last year, and where they're going for this year, what they'd like to achieve? I think last year, like I said, I did lots of, hi Andy, last year I did lots of kind of planning of what I wanted to achieve. This year I haven't so much. I've just looked at what worked, what didn't work, what I've learned, and then actioning a few things for the next year. A few key things, really. I think last year I went off on a tangent a little bit, focused on a lot of smaller things, which was fantastic, because I wrote books and I got shortlisted for awards and things like that. And I'll still do some of that stuff, but my main focus has to be in other areas as well. So it's just, you know, life is a constant learning curve, isn't it? It's constantly learning. You're constantly doing things and judging yourself for being wrong or right, good and bad. I let that go ages ago. That's really not very useful, I find. It's much better to just be on this learning journey, I feel. Hi, Sammy. And to just be open and to learning things and growing, and be curious about the world. Hi, Kate. Okay, be curious about the world and to just lean into life, I suppose I would describe that as. So I'm gonna let you go now then. I need a drink of water, I think, because I've been coughing. Hi Sherry, how are you? Anybody got any questions before I go? Hi Sammy. I want to focus on myself this year. I feel like my feet haven't touched the ground lately and it's nearly killed me. I just want to relax and go with the flow and have some more me time. I think it can get a bit like that on times, can't it, Kay? And I think that what I realised was that I needed to create space for me often. So create space. Last year I did an awful lot of creating space. I did a lot of creating space to feed my soul. I did a lot of creating space for writing. I did a lot of creating space just to slow down. And I found that when I slowed down, things happened anyway. But I felt a little bit like I was speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. And I was doing that kind of yo-yoing thing. But I feel more settled this year now. So again, that is like a learning curve as well. And it's about finding your place, I think, with that. I'm doing a lot more numbers planning and then let go of it, and it works for me. Yeah, expecting it all to happen. So when you say that, Bridget, what do you mean by I'm doing a lot more numbers planning and then letting go of it? I find that if there's something you want to do, if you let go of the outcome of it, it happens. It happened to me with my HuffPost blog. You know, I put my blog in, I forgot about it, and then it came back to me. I put my few other things I put in and let go of it. So letting go of the outcome really works. Expecting it all to happen. I think expecting things to happen, we get what we expect. So that's really important. But not holding on to the outcome of that is like it's kind of having it as a preference rather than something we really want as well. Focus for me is small number of carefully chosen clients to work with. That's right, Steve. That's great. And actually, it's like sometimes we only need a small number of clients, but like you said, carefully chosen clients. So you have to talk to lots and lots of people to find those people, don't you, sometimes as well? So it's not, I think what I did last year was I was a little bit too drilled down on that. So I'm opening up again this year. Cape, I said, yes. Sherry Boucher, I'm watching this while doing Insanity Efficient. You go, girl. That's fantastic. And I think, yeah, I think you could, people say I haven't got enough time, but I double up on things sometimes. So like I was lying in bed this morning listening to a podcast. When I have a bath, I listen to an Esther Hicks. So I'm doing something and doing learning at the same time. If I'm ironing something, I have something else going on. So doubling up on things, I think you can double up on things sometimes and create time. So people often say they don't have enough time to do things, and it's not true. You know, I've written blogs, I've turned up for an appointment, been there 10 minutes before, written a blog in that 10 minutes. And you get faster. The more you do it, you get faster, you get better. So yeah, Insanity, that's quite hard, I think, Insanity. But I know you're quite fit as well, Sherry, so you're probably okay at that. But yeah, double up on things. You know, if you're in the car listening to something, it's all doubling up. I think I mean letting go of the worry and stress. Okay, so letting go of the worry and stress. I need to get my systems in place. I mean, worry and stress, again, is about future thinking sometimes. I was worrying about something that happened in the past and might happen again, so it can be future past. It's not being present. Being present creates space too. So letting go of all that would be good. I need to get my systems in place and then it will happen. Okay. Sometimes we feel like we need to get things in place before we can achieve something. But actually, like what I would say there is think about why do you want to achieve it? And what you usually realize is that it's a feeling that you're chasing, not a thing. And what I realized was, like, over the time when I've been in business, I thought I needed a website. I thought I needed, you know, some other things. I thought I needed leaflets. I thought I needed lots of things. Really, all I needed was to connect and have a conversation. Systems do help and processes do help. And I suppose I've refined my processes over the years and simplified them. So simplification helps, I find too. So Bridget said, so I work out what I want and then let go of it. Yeah, I think that works really well. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll write a list in my journal and I'll write down things that I want help from the universe with. And I might write down on another page things that I am going to do. So I'll write a list of things that I'm going to do, a list of things that I want help from the universe with. And just because I've written it, people keep things in their heads and it's all floating around. But writing it down, and I noticed Richard Branson said this week as well, about writing things down. Journaling is really good. When you write it down, it's like you wake something up. And then you see that thing in the outside world because you've woken it up, you've focused on it, and we get what we focus on. So I would say write it down and then let go of it. Yeah, systems are important. They do create freedom. But I think if it depends, like, oh, I've refined my processes and systems and simplified them. Okay, so you do need them. But if you are waiting to do something and think you need a system before you can do it, sometimes it's like with the Women Inspire Leaders stuff, like I didn't know where that was going or what to do with it. I just put it out there. And by putting it out there, I got 170 connection requests. Now, if I'd have stalled and waited till I had everything in place, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, it wouldn't have happened. So the important thing I feel is sometimes if you feel like you're waiting, you need something before you can do something, question that, because learning by doing, what I did was I did it. And as I went, I created the systems, created the process. I created the kind of process of what it was. So you can build it after. And you're in a better position really to know what works and what doesn't work then as well. And then they do create freedom systems. Yes, I see what you mean. I just feel like I've been fighting fires. Yeah, I know what it's like fighting fires. So sometimes when you're fighting fires, the best thing you can do is stop and create space and just chill out, go do nothing, or go for a walk, or just let go of it. I've got to the point in my business where I've gone, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, this isn't what I wanted. I'm not doing it anymore. And I've just completely, in my head, let go of everything. And then something shows up. So it's like, if you find you're fighting fires, are you focused on challenges? Are you focused on fires? So what I would do as well is I would go, hang on a minute, I seem to be getting a lot of challenges here. I'm focused on challenges. I need to focus on something else. What do I want to create? And then I'll shift around and go, okay, let's write down what do I want to create, because I'm fed up with these challenges. And I had that when I had some workshops I had to sell to voluntary sector, and I was like coming up against a brick wall all the time, getting lots of challenges. Something else happened. I think a tenant left my house. I had loads of stuff happen. And I went, hang on a minute, I don't want to look at this anymore. This is not what I want to create in the world, this experience. I need to shift now, and I need to look at what I want to create. And I focused on what I wanted to create. And that month, I was a really good month. And I created, I think it was 26 workshops that month. So it's knowing what you want is really important too. Focusing on what you want to create, not focusing on the fires, because they spread. So that's meditation helps. I've just downloaded the Omvana meditation app, and I've started doing a few of those. Some of them I feel are more relaxation than meditation. I thought meditation was something completely different. But I think maybe they are more kind of relaxation. But they're handy too. They've got things like abundance meditations and all sorts of things. So they're handy, I think, to put on like when you go to bed. So you can double up on that. Not so much double up, because meditation, you should just be meditating. But I put it on before I go to bed, just to chill down a little bit. But I'd like to learn more about like proper meditation, because I think that would be really, really useful for me. But I think I need to like go and try it somewhere, you know, somewhere like a meditation center maybe or something, because I think it's very difficult to like shut out all the distractions when you're sat in the house or somewhere else. Like I was out with the robin this morning, and the robin came down and looked at me. It was a really magical moment, and then the dog started barking. So it was like, oh no, the dog's just like ruined my moment. But that's life, isn't it? So it's practicing. It's not really, he hasn't really ruined, or she hasn't ruined my moment. If I don't allow it to ruin my moment, it was still a beautiful moment. So it's about, you know, what we allow then as well, or how we look at things and how we perceive things, isn't it? Does anybody else have any questions about anything else to do with this, or anything different? It's been really, really lovely to connect with you all this morning. I was more people than I really expected. I thought it was going to be like 3 people on here or something, and we've had such a lot of people. That's been fantastic. So I think, you know, it's time for me to go make a cup of tea now for my sore throat, or it's not so much sore throat, it's more like a bit of chesty cough. But yeah, I hope that's been helpful to you. If you want to share it, because then like other people will get use out of it as well. And that's okay. And if anybody wants to connect, because like this year for me is all about connecting. Hi Gemma. This year for me is all about connecting. I think that just connecting for the sake of connecting is a good thing. So yeah, that's something. Maybe last year, I towards the end of last year, I think I kind of focused on creating space a bit too much, and kind of doing the little things and creating and stuff like that. So I think you need a balance really between creating. Bye, Phyllis. You need a balance between creating space, creating content, focusing on, you know, all sorts of things. I think you just need to have a bit of everything really. But there are some key things that I think are important. Thank you very much for your enlightening talk, Natasha. Thank you, DK. So I'm going to go and make a cup of tea now. But I hope you all have a really, really good day. Hope some of that was useful. And like I said, if you want to share it. And I'm going to do more of these, because I think visibility is important too. So I'll see you all again. Thank you very much. Bye.